I just need one more thing. Okay, we're good to go. Streaming live on YouTube and recording. Whew. I think I got all the boxes checked. All right, so welcome everybody to Spiritual Sunday. If this is your first time here, we're so glad that you're here. And today we have a bunch of topics we're going to talk about, all about healing, physical, spiritual, mental, emotional, all of these things. We're going to look at different modalities. So to set the stage and to recap for those of you that it's not the first time, and for those of you who it is, normally our flow is the first 40 minutes. We have a spiritual knowledge component where we're putting out information. Kiesia, you are my timekeeper today because I'm kind of gabby. So if I hit that 5 minutes to the 40 minutes, kind of say, jump in and be like, sir, you have the 5 minute mark or whatever. So nobody's going to think you're rude because I just told you to tell me start to shut up. Okay. After that, we normally have a meditation that we look at, or that we do rather, that is on YouTube and we go to. We're not going to do that today. Today, depending on the time, depending on the topics, depending on what flows from me through spirit, we'll see how that goes. I want to do a meditation where I talk you through some of the multi-dimensional timelines type of deal, and I'll explain it to you when we get closer to that point. But we'll see how that goes. And then the last 30 minutes is open discussion where everyone shares their experiences, have any questions based on the topics. If you have your own personal experiences that you had or advice that you could give to anyone, that all comes out, and then boom, we're done. Classes, courses, coaching, and certification. So classes are what we're doing right now. They're free. The courses are a little bit more in depth than the classes where we give an overview of different stuff. The coaching is, let's say someone needed palm reading, something like that, or they needed a reading. And certification is where we teach you how to deliver, do, train any of the topics that we talk about. Now, I am happy to announce two things. Number one, any of the money that I get, which I haven't gotten any yet, but any of the money that I get goes 100% towards us building orphanages around the world. That's the first thing. Second thing is I'm happy to announce that we're building one because I got another job and that job pays. And my wife and I donate half our money to charity, and we use that to build up things. So we're building an orphanage in Maharashtra, and we have 2 acres that we're building up upon. So I'm like, yeah, 2021, we're going to make it happen. So pretty excited about that. All right, so that's that logistics. Now, tell us who you are if you're brand new. If you're new and it's your first time here, it's a chance for you to say what's up. You do not have to, but you are most certainly welcome to tell us your name, spiritual background, like I'm Christian or I'm Hindu or I'm none of it. I just consider myself spiritual, or I'm all of it, or I just started spirituality today. Whatever you are. And then why today? Why did you choose this topic? What do you want to hear from it? And anybody who is not new to this group, if there's a special reason why you hopped on, you'll be free to say what you want to, if you want me to focus on a particular topic. So with that, any newbies want to say what's up?
I'll say hi. And then, hello everyone, my name is Antonio. I had an awakening about last year, like 2019, and it changed my life. And I'm just very grateful for having the ability to have awakened and to see and perceive the world through a completely different lens. I've been using Law of One as a guiding meditation in a way, like, and as a, I guess, as a teacher. So why today? I don't know. I just felt like doing something because it's my birthday actually. Yeah, that's why today. I want to do a spiritual healing on my birthday. So yeah.
That's what's up. Okay.
And
Yeah, I'm Sasha and his girlfriend. And it's his birthday, so we're doing this for his birthday. And I'm from a Christian background, and but I love learning. So yeah.
Oh, that's so awesome. No pressure, right? It's like your birthday. So we really got to bring it today. We're glad that you are celebrating your birthday with us. Welcome to you both. Okay, anybody else wants to hop in?
Hi, I'm Carolyn. I'm new. I have a history of, I guess I grew up in the Christian church, but it doesn't really resonate with me as an adult. So I am finding my spiritual journey elsewhere, and I don't really know what that looks like. So when my therapist said I needed to find new friends and look somewhere else, my heart found you guys and you. So I signed up and I'm really excited, and we'll see what happens.
Awesome. Welcome, Carolyn. Glad you're here too. Anyone else? Antonio, is there a special healing that you're looking for? Like something hurt, or you just in general want to maintain?
I mean, I'm trying to like release a lot of like baggage from my current employer. I'm in the military right now. However, I did have a transition, and I'm currently unable to continue with this military life. So I am transitioning out, and I'm just trying to kind of release my, like, I guess like South Node type of stuff, kind of like who I was, and trying to embrace this new person that I am looking to become.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's helpful. So as I go through, I'll try to lean to talk to pull some of that out. For everyone else, as I go through, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, feel free to put it in the chat. Jane and Jerry are here and present as well, and both of them are excellent. And when I say excellent, I mean with a capital E, excellent healers. So if you have some questions, they may be able to respond to you as well. And this is just a talented group as well that are here. So any questions you can put in the chat. We have ourselves on mute as we go through. So Kiesia will be keeping an eye out for those questions. And then once I finish the discussion part, or rather, I guess the learning and lesson part, we'll take a look at the chat and see if there are any that are out there. All right, cool. Nobody else, right? We're all good? Okay, let's move forward. Got the live streaming done. Dun, 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 dun. All right, here are the 6 topics that we're going to talk about today. So I give you a little bit of an overview of what we're going to do. So prana healing, like prana, what is it? There are a lot of things that, and depending on the culture, they call it different things. And there are things that, from a modality standpoint, that I was trained on or trained around, and I'm kind of bringing that into our discussion today. Whatever resonates with you, whatever you call it, just like God has a lot of names, Allah, Jehovah, I am, Spirit, Gaia, whatever you call things, whatever resonates with you, go with that. Don't let the name, the title throw you off. Wars are started over words. So what I tell people is use the words that work well for you. At the end of the day, it's just love. It's just energy. That's all anything and everything is. And the manipulation of energy, even thoughts are energetic, can help heal. So Shakti, very powerful source of energy, chi as well, the flow of energy. We're going to talk about chakra healing, mental and physical. That's what I really want to dive into, and probably hit the traditional chakra discussion from another point of diagnosis, as well as how do you heal yourself as well as others. And multi-dimensional healing, that is using meditation, going to a different place, a different space in order to heal, and different timelines. Yeah, that's called transurfing realities. So it's a thought that there are at the same, there's a billionaire Willpower Harris, and then there's a trailer park Willpower Harris, all at the same time. I sure would like to meet that trailer park Will Harris though. I wonder what that cat's like. But that you can pull from any of these different timelines at any particular point in time in order for you to have a greater experience in this one. Like there's a timeline where Antonio has no pain, no worries whatsoever. So how do we pull that one into this one? And anything that he can think of or conceive to be is happening. So right now we have a lot of options. Like I got an option where I can stand up and walk through that door and then come back. And you guys are like, what? Where is he going? Is he getting spiritual backup? So anything that's possible can happen when you look at it from that standpoint. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And we see how much comes out. But definitely when we get around the last three, because that's like another advanced level that I've been messing with for the last, I say, year and a half or so. Okay, cool. So let's get into Prana. All right. Prana healing, and what I want to bring out with that is that Prana, it's just energy, right? Einstein said that everything is energy. But Prana is the ability to maybe tap in and feel your energy. So an exercise that we do, because you have acupuncture too, as well, right? These are different energy points that people are tapping into. If you take your hand to kind of feel the energy, all right? Take your hand, and in the palm of your hand, this is an energy point, right? This is where prana can come out. So when I say prana, think energy. Shakti, think energy. Chi, think energy. So what I want you to do is take your thumb, okay, and your middle finger, and just start massaging the center of your palm, just rubbing it, like with the intention of warm up, wake up, and then light pressure, not hard, and then switch to the other hand and rub that to warm it up, okay? Now, what you're gonna do is you're gonna clap your hands together and rub your palms really fast, almost like a Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi, when he was rubbing his hands together, like, there you son, go out there and kick that rich guy's butt. He didn't say it exactly like that, but I know that's what he meant. And now that you have it warmed up, it could be tingling a little. If you feel it tingling, yeah, it's about to be warm. And then you want to come closer, bring your hands together like this, just a little bit, and then pull back. And you're trying to feel if there's any push, almost like a magnet. So go in a little bit, pull back out, and see where it is. If you go in too much, it's like a bubble that you just broke through. You can find out how far does your prana go. Okay. Now, if you don't feel it, it's okay. And if you're there with a partner like Antonio and Sasha, let's say Sasha like, I don't feel nothing. It's just air. then what Antonio would do was put his hands outside of hers and tell her to push out. So he's squeezing in and she would pull out. And then that way she would have that resistance. Okay. Now, the more you do this, the more you'll be able to feel it. And it's just like you come in a little bit and then you come out. Now, let's try something really cool. This prana can be directed based on your thoughts. So you can make it bigger. So when I come in and I find my spot, like this is me right here. This is how far mine goes. I can make it bigger. So now mine is going this way. And how I do it is I close my eyes and I blow out and imagine that the energy is expanding. Okay. Now, I'll let you guys try to find your spot. And then once you got it, I just blow out in my mouth just a little bit. But the whole intention is it's almost like blowing up a balloon. And I imagine that there's a ball that gets bigger. Now, okay. Now we're gonna have some real fun. What I want you to do, let's pause together, right? Once you find your ball again, I want you to turn your ball upside down. You can make it bigger too if you want. See if you feel it. It's just energy. And it's all around you. So your whole energy field, your chi, I guess we'll talk about that later. Now, let's do something with love. So this time, as you begin to build up your ball, as you fill your ball, I want you to put love in your ball. So fill your ball, okay, right here. And this time when you blow it up from your heart. Imagining you're sending love into the ball, unconditional love. And that love is infecting the entire ball. Ooh. Does it feel different than the first one? Does it feel stronger? Do you sense a color? Is it more resistance when you push in? And now take that ball of love and dump it on yourself. Dump that ball right on yourself of love. Didn't see that coming, did you, Sasha? That's right. So I was going to throw it off to somebody. This is my love. Love me first. Because you got to love yourself first, right? If you don't love you, how are you going to give love to somebody else? You got to love yourself first. Wow, that feels good. I just feel happy. Just in general. I have to do, maybe set my alarm every hour. Just douse myself with love. But it's the same thing. You can push it on someone else. So this prana, this energy that we're talking about, it's the same thing that happens to you when you feel someone walk in a room and it brightens up the room. Or somebody walks in the room and it's almost like they just stole something. It's because of the energy, the prana that they have and the impact. It's all around us. Now, what I learned to do around prana, okay, is that you're able to assess assess somebody's chronic energy around their body. So, Antonio, Sasha, Jane, and Jerry, you all can use each other. For those of us that are in the room by ourselves, you can do this on yourself. You can do it on yourself by looking at the image that you have on the video. So to explain to you, what you do is you take the measurement, just like how you did with the energy between your hands. This time you're trying to measure the energy at the head, coming in this way, at the mid chest, at the waist, at the leg. I don't know if you can see over here, I got this diagram of the human body and aura going on. That's what we're taking a measurement of. Because if I hurt my arm, then it's going to be a depletion of energy right here. So you may do the whole body and realize, okay, my whole body, the pranic energy comes out this much. But when I got to my stomach area, it was this much. Or when I got to my arm, it was way too much. Because sickness, illness, is just too much energy or too little energy. Too much energy or too little energy. So when you're able to do that physical assessment, the same way you had the assessment with your hands, okay? If you do that measurement on someone else, and you can sing, like, who will I do? I will do Birthday Boy. All right. So Birthday Boy, I'm gonna do energetic on him from what I see, because I see from his mid torso up. You can do this on even people you see on TV. That's the thing that amazed me. Like stars, if you want to know energetically what they are like, you can do this and you'll be able to feel it and see it. So there's a few things you want to do in terms of cleansing and energy. And that could be, I was looking to see if I had my spray over here, but there's a particular spray you can use to get off old energy. Also, what I learned is just like how you're dusting off your hand, you can do that with the intent of getting rid of the old energy. And you can have water and salt that you're sending that to. And the salt will help to break down the negative energy. You could just have water, but I was told that salt also helps break down the energy, and you dispose of that cup or whatever you have very carefully, because it's just like a cup of negative energy. So be careful how you dispose of that, or you wouldn't want to spill it on you or douse yourself with that. That would be very bad. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to assess the pranic energy of Antonio from where he is. Okay. Now I'm around his ears. And this is what I'm getting from his aura. The shoulders came out a little bit more than the rest of the body. And you all could do the same thing with him too, if you like. Compare notes. So shoulders was a whole lot, like more than the rest. And around the ears and nose, almost like a sinus infection starting or already there. That's what I feel. Okay. So you can talk to your subject, right? And ask them, how accurate you are. So to give you a quick assessment, Antonio, of what I felt, it was like more energy in the shoulder area. And I don't know if everything's either mental or physical, but it seems like there was more pressure on the shoulders. It could be like more weight, like somebody has they're shouldering more work or more pressure. The ears around this area seem like a depletion versus a surplus. Shoulders were a surplus. Here was a depletion. Do you have any issues around either one of those areas?
I just started my new business. I'm like working to become a home inspector, and I'll be leaving the military here soon. So it's like I'm going on a completely new path of independence. So definitely feel the weight of that.
Okay. How about around your sinuses? Is anything going on? Ears, nose?
We just got off like the beach. We went for a kind of like swim. It's kind of cold right now, but I think I got some water like waterlogged still in there, but I don't. Yeah.
Okay. So just take care of that, like making sure that it doesn't turn into an infection.
Okay.
I don't know what you do for if you got water in your ears, but I'm just telling you from my assessment, that's like a physical standpoint. The shoulders felt more mental.
Mm.
This felt more physical. So just keep your eye on it, and take whatever precautions you need to, because it's cold, right? So you don't want to get sick. Okay, cool. So thanks, Antonio. Now, let's say that someone hurt themselves. There's a technique called scooping. So with his shoulders, the way it is, and him telling me that he has a lot on him, what I want to do is I want to scoop out some of that, okay? So to make it lighter on him, to make him lighter and happier. So what I would tell him is, all right, Antonio, I want you to breathe in and out 3 times. Close your eyes, just get in a very relaxing way, okay? And if I have permission to lighten the weight on your shoulders, just nod your head that I do. Okay. You want to get permission from your subject for anything you're going to do on them. And now that I have his permission, I'm going to do an assessment of his area again so that I can have a good idea on how much to scoop out and where. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to scoop like this with emotion, with an intention. Oh yeah, use that water anymore. Scoop that. Scooping and flicking. If you stomp your toe, then I'm going to measure it again to see if it's gone down and how much. If you stomp your toe, you can scoop out if you feel that it's a surplus. You can scoop out the harm, the hurt, that negative energy, and disperse it. And then, now that you're finished, okay, what you can do is, if you don't have water, if you don't have salt, you can imagine a green or blue flame that comes up. And just imagine it flames up, it burns the energy away, and then you put the fire out. Okay, so you just imagining that a green or blue flame came up, and then at the same time, once it burns the energy, you put it out. You have to put it out. Everything is cause and effect. If you set something afire in the spiritual world and don't put it out, it is going to manifest in other areas. So if you use, I repeat, if you use the fire technique, you have to put it out. Just to be like, whoosh, yeah, that class was good. And then forget to put the fire out. You got to put out the damn fire. Okay. So what I did with Antonio is I measured him first to see where the imbalance was. I scooped. Okay. I dispersed the energy into this drinking cup of water that I can't drink no more. And I hope I don't get thirsty before this is over. And then, okay, also, I didn't have to, but I did, just so I can teach you, use a green flame that I brought up, and then I put that flame out, and I remeasured. Now, what you can do is the left hand, it's the receiving hand. When you inhale, you can breathe through this hand and exhale through this hand to give Antonio positive energy. So if you scoop out, okay, and disperse, you also can fill back up and then seal. So I'll look at Antonio, and when I breathe in, when I inhale, I'm imagining that I'm inhaling through my left hand. And when I exhale, I'm imagining I'm exhaling, sending energy out through my right hand. Oh, and you take your tongue and you put your tongue on the top of the roof of your mouth because it connects it all. Okay, and now I'm done. So what I did was I breathed in through my left hand, using my right hand, shot out prana energy to his right shoulder, and then his left shoulder, and then I use blue light to seal the healing. Then it just floats away. Okay. You can do the same thing on yourself. Let's say you stomp your toe. Because that happens. This is when I mostly use this type of healing. It's like if I hit my toe, bump into stuff, because I just got a whole bunch of stuff over here, like treadmill and stuff like this. Stuff. I hit myself a lot. And I'm like, damn it. And then I scoop out, okay, that energy, and then refill it with positive blue light to seal it. Okay. And then it's important that you get off any of these you have. It's all intent. It's intent. In the physical world, your intent is having an impact on the spiritual side. So it's just the intent of you going like that. Blue light or green, fire, put it out, and then you're done. Okay. Didn't expect to do that. Antonio, thank you for participating. Oh, one other thing when it comes to healing. I asked for his permission. Okay. So the reason why is because people may talk about black magic, dark magic. I really don't believe that has any impact on you unless you give it power. And it's the same thing for positivity and good stuff, that you have to allow someone to heal you in order for it to be impactful. It's about willpower. It's about you manifesting. It's your life. It's your situation. So you have to ask the other person, just like praying for someone. Ideally, for it to work the best, is that somebody asks you to pray for them or heal them, or you ask them if it's okay and they give their agreement. this universe is set up on free will. So anyone that tells you, well, what I say is right and you're wrong, or this is the only way you can get that done, yeah, they probably don't know what they're talking about. Even with me, if Antonio does not feel anything, if he does not get a healing, he shouldn't think the same thing wrong with him. He should question what's going on with me. And if I'm like, hey, this is the only way to get healed, then there's definitely something wrong with me. It's all about free will. Okay, so that's prana healing. Now, Shakti. Shakti is something I'll touch light upon this. But Shakti, like prana healing, is very powerful. Very powerful. A friend of mine, Benita Woods, who lives, I'm in the DC area. Like most of us are DC area, except for a few that are here that are from India. And she used to live in this area. She introduced me to Shakti and actually combined the two, Shakti and Prana. So the modality that I learned was Shakti Prana healing. That is bringing in energy from the top of your head, bringing the energy in and then sending the energy out, or bringing the energy in to heal you and then sending the energy back up. That is very intense and big time, and that's pulling from the universe. And that's something that is best shared in like a course or face-to-face setting where I can help guide you through, because that energy is no joke. But you can Google it, do some research on it. If you are trying to do healing on the planet, then Shakti is a fantastic one for that. If you're trying to do healing for mass amounts of people or uplift an environment, Shakti is the way to go. Prana is good if it's one-on-one, you're working with someone and maybe their illness isn't that big of a deal. Like I said, a stomp toe, as opposed to something more life-threatening. But Shakti, yeah, that's, what would be an example? It's like Prana is shooting with a water gun. Shakti then would be shooting with a fire hose, like just vast amounts of energy. First time that I messed around with Shakti, I had a headache. I was like, Shakti sucks. I was like, I don't like Shakti. But it turns out Will Harris sucked. I didn't understand how to use energy. Same thing for Reiki healers. Like the first Reiki healer I had that manipulated my energy, personally, I felt sick. Like seasickness type. I'm like, this Reiki person sucks. So when you mess around with energy, it's very important that you know what you're doing. To take it as a joke, make sure you're learning from somebody that knows what they're doing, and take your time with it. Don't just jump into everything, because there's a lot of crazy people out there. So be careful with that. So Shakti, I'm just telling you about it, just for you to know, like difference between water gun, prana, and then with Shakti, it's a whole lot more intense. Now, with this, oops, went a little bit too fast. Excuse me. Taking this out. That's what we got. I didn't have time to delete all of these when I was going through and doing my presentation this morning. Don't judge me. Don't judge me, Kevin. Prana Shakti healing would be, let's say you identify there is something in your life you want to change that's specific. Think of it as the prana aspect is hidden that specific area. And Shakti is just calling in the entire power of the universe to come down into that, almost like a funnel. That's how I would describe the combination of the two modalities. Prana allows you to be specific. So if you have a water hose, I mean, like a fire hose, you're trying to put out the fire in the whole house, right? Like, as opposed to, okay, this is built specifically for one room. The prana gets very specific, and then the Shakti is just a flow. Okay. Now, chi. So again, there are several words from prana to Shakti to chi that just describes energy. But I wanted to talk about the flow of energy and just the flow of energy, not even with you, but with everything. So if your place is junky, if your room is junky, if your house is junky, that's messing up the chi, the feng shui, right? Whatever you call it, because the energy starts to block. When Antonio, again, it's your birthday, so I'm pulling you out. If you don't like it, just tell me, because I'll stop, okay? What I would suggest, one thing you could do is you can take 2 sheets of paper, and on 1 sheet of paper, write down everything that you think you're not good enough at or don't have enough of, everything. And then on a separate sheet of paper, you write down everything that you regret or that you wish didn't happen to you. So both lists should take you about 15 minutes. And as you're writing it out, it's going to become a point, maybe around the 10-minute mark, that you're like, I just can't think of anything else. Then what you do at that time, if you're right-handed, are you right-handed? Okay. Then what you do is you switch hands to your left hand and just write one word, write food. Because you want to start pulling from your subconscious. When you switch hands, it's going to pull from that area that you don't even admit to yourself. So just write one word just to get it going. And yes, it is going to look like you wrote it with your foot. That's okay, because it's just you want to get it out. And then whoosh, more and more stuff will come. Same thing with the other list. So now you have 2 lists. These 2 lists are all blockage, spiritual blockage, things that you can't necessarily see, but they are absolutely there and preventing a healing from coming, preventing a problem from being solved, because you're asking for it to come. You're trying to manifest it, but it's running into one thing after another. Because whatever you put down that you don't have enough of, well, that's a lie. You're perfect. I don't mean that you're flawless, but in order for Antonio, his soul, to have the experiences he was meant to have in this life, you have the challenges or the lack of certain things in order for you to experience that. So there's nothing wrong with you. So if you're thinking that, you're putting up a block. Anything that happened to you in the past, again, it's a learning lesson. If you messed up, it's a learning lesson. Something bad happened to you, it's an experience that you can use to help, to heal, to guide other people. So when you have these things down, now you can go into a meditative state and clear out that energy. And one thing you can do is you can imagine that everything that you have written on a paper is on a block of wood. So I did this for the first time 2013. It was December 2013. And the day after I did it, I got $100,000. I manifested $100,000 that I wanted to come my way. Now, full disclosure, I had been meditating for a year. So when I wrote this list out, okay, and then went into meditation, I imagined that everything I had on the list was on a block of wood. And then I took that wood and I put it into a fire to be burnt away. And then I imagined that the smoke from that fire became a fertilizer. And then in my mind's eye, I scooped up the fertilizer and I dumped it on an abundance tree. That's really what we want: abundance of health, abundance of love, abundance of resources. It's not money per se that we want, but what it can bring us. And then I just imagined that it rained and that fruit grew on the tree and it just fell. And the next day I got a call from Verizon that my company got a contract, which was $100,000. Okay. So chi, energy, the flow of energy, sometimes it can get junky. You can get junky in your house from a physical standpoint because everything has energy: a mouse, pen, everything, right? You, the people in your life. Sometimes we got to clear them out of the way. You got to go. Okay. So that's what's up with chi. Okay. Now, illness genesis. So I wanted to talk about this mindset and then transition into the chakra discussion. I have no clue how I'm doing on time either, so I got to hurry up. Okay. All illnesses, I think, fall into these 4 areas of the reasons why you have it. Either one is genetic. So you got high blood pressure, your mama had high blood pressure, your daddy had high blood pressure. High blood pressure is just in your family. Your daddy, well, for me personally, right? If you have, my father was an alcoholic. My grandfather was an alcoholic. So guess what? I don't do. I don't drink because obviously the Harrises have issues with alcohol. My son, he knows this, and he knows not to drink. So yeah, one won't hurt me. But it's always funny too, because when I tell people, nah, I don't drink, they're thinking, oh, he got a problem. Like, no, I'm trying not to get one. My problem is I get fat too. Older you start drinking, you get fat. So some things are genetic. Other things are karmic, either this life or the last life. When I see, like the toughest questions, like, say, all right, why did this horrible thing happen to this child? I'm not saying it's always this case. Sometimes it can be genetic. Other times it could be another past life. There is no getting out of life without you eventually paying off your karmic debt. It's going to happen one way or the other. So you can take a look at that. The other is harmed. If I stab you, cut you, shoot you, all right, you got an illness now. But that was harm that was done to you. And then the other is an imbalance, which is kind of like you do harm to yourself. You don't get enough rest. Your chakras are imbalanced. And I want to drill in and talk about the chakras. Is there anybody, you can raise your hand up on the chat. Is there anybody who doesn't know what a chakra is? So I can skip explaining it. Okay, that doesn't know what a chakra is. All right. So chakras are energy points within your body. Most people will fondly believe that there are 7. There are a gazillion, a whole lot more than 7. And let me see if I can give you a visual. So this is kind of a visual. So the 7 that most people talk about, from the top of your head to like the area of your third eye, to your throat, my personal favorite, to your heart, to the last 3. This one is power, willpower. This is more from a sexual orientation standpoint, and this is survival. Okay. Now there is, imagine an energy source that is aligned along the whole essence of your body. But it's not just one thing. It's really the flow of energy. Imagine like your blood vessels, but just being energy, and they're all wrapping around a particular area. and then it flows, and then it wraps around another particular area. So when people think of a chakra and they think of, okay, this is the chakra. Well, no, it's not like one thing, but it's a flow of different energies wrapping up together. And LaFauna, it shapes into a funnel. You know how you have like a cone shape, and it comes out in front of you, and then it also goes out the back of you too. So this one right here, cone going forward, cone going backwards, and they spin. Let me let red draw in. Okay. Now the chakras spin, and they spin left, right, left, right, left, right. It's not like, but it's going left, right, left, right, left, right. And when they are out of balance, they can spin left, right, out of balance. They can be shaped out of balance. And it's just about the flow of energy. So to give you, and everything that relates to the chakras, everything that relates to these has either a mental or a physical component of it. All right, mental or physical. Now, let me give you an example. So this is just a broad stereotype, a broad synopsis that we're pulling in here. Most women, most men, definitely not all. An example would be, you normally see more women in church than men. Okay? You see more women at temples than men. The women's chakras are more open at the crown, the throat, the heart. From here up, they're more open. They are going to, let's talk about our problem. Well, that's why they get throat chakra, right? Big hearts, emotional. These are normally traits we attribute to the feminine energy. Most women are open up here. When you go to these lower chakras around sexual orientation, around security and fight or flight and survival, there's more men. So ideally, you will be free flowing up and free flowing down too. I went a little bit too fast. So LaFauna, I'm trying to explain chakras to you, and then also for the ones who already know what it is, give them a little bit more. So imagine that the simplest summary I could give to what are chakras, they are different. They're your energy body. So if your spirit was made up of something, it would be these 7 things. These 7 things represent your entire spiritual body. That's how I will explain it to you. And if something is off spiritually, boom, it's going to have an effect either mentally or physically. That's the genesis. So if it's not genetic, if it's not karmic, if it's not harmed, then it's an imbalance. So to give you an example, someone who may have cancer could be genetic, right? It could be karmic. But another thing could be an imbalance of chakras over decades that are finally starting to manifest into something physical. So people who have cancer and they get radiation treatment, they get it treated and it goes into remission or disappears from their system. Well, the root cause, which could be something spiritually, could be an imbalance at the chakras. The root cause was never touched or worked on. So it can come back. Now, that's not the only reason, but it is one of the possible reasons. So when it comes to you doing an assessment, it's good for you to get a full assessment, one spiritually, one physically from a doctor, mentally, emotionally. All of these things are tied to the chakras. People make their entire careers out of dealing with this and knowing how balanced they are. And how we did with Antonio and measuring like where he was, people do that with chakras too, in terms of the front and back of the body and feeling what they're like. Okay. Now, with the physical and emotional, or physical and mental, whichever way you prefer, put this chart up here for the people who are used to this and a little bit more advanced. And I want you to think about right now, where are you? Instead of looking at this as a, this is just a chart that I'm going to go through. Look at it in terms of you personally. Where are you physically? Where are you emotionally right now? And then based on that, you will be able to figure out which chakra is most impacted. And maybe you look at, well, where do I want to be? So sometimes it's easier to know, I just don't want to feel this way. But what way do you want to feel? And then you go for that. So the first one, crown, like a physical warning sign, sensitivity to light, sound, emotional warning signs. So these are just signs and tips that, hey, you may have too much of this, or you may have too little. Rigid thoughts, confusion, prejudice, fear of alienation. Third eye, right? Which is tied mostly to sight or vision from a mental standpoint, or even physically being able to see. Headaches, sinus issues, emotional, mood swings, violent, just grouchy. That's what they should have put here. Emotional warnings, grouchy as hell. Throat chakra, sore throat, of course, ulcers, pain in the neck, all around this area. That's the simplest way to look at it. And then the heart, asthma, heart disease, lung disease, pain in arms, problems with the lymphatic system, jealousy, fear, abandonment. So those people, like, those stalkers, right? They got some serious jealousy issues, right? People who are real possessive. Well, their heart chakra, either right above it, there's a blockage, or right below it, there's a blockage, or too much of it. All of these things are how, if you're coaching somebody, counseling someone, or trying to heal them, or even yourself, it helps you to diagnose. I have a couple that I'm coaching, and I explained to them that, how you have, something spiritually, but you have to explain it in physical terms so those people who aren't into what we do, they understand. So this is how I explained it for people who aren't into chakras and stuff. That there's 3 phases of healing, of growth, of change. That if you want to change something really big, if you want to heal something really big, that the 3rd stage is, I did it again. It's like, oops, I did it again. Like, I know I wasn't supposed to do that, but at least now I recognize it's over, but I should have acted differently. Then the 2nd stage is, oops, I'm doing it right now. I'm fussing her out. I'm fussing him out. And I need to stop this right now. And then you're in the middle of it, but you stop. And then the 1st stage is, I see it coming and I'm not going to let it happen. So you have 3 stages of change that if I am talking to someone, I say, you know what? I'm sorry. I get it. You don't want me to do that anymore. I need to be different. But if it's something big, I'm not talking like leave the toilet seat up. I'm talking about you have a habit of treating people a certain way, being a certain way. When it's that big, well, then that's not going to stop right on the dime. It's just not. It needs to be cleared out, fixed, and healed from a spiritual standpoint. So how I explain it to like this couple that I'm talking about is that stage 3 is he's going to do it and then realize, oops, I did it again. Okay. But if you keep working on yourself, could be meditating, could be healing of the chakras. Then you're going to get to stage 2. And stage 2 is going to be, I'm in the middle of it. I'm doing it right now. Let me stop. Let me be better. And then stage 1 is, yeah, I see it coming. I'm going to choose a different path. I'm going to go a different route. 3, 2, 1, healed. So that's more at a emotional or mental state. But what's happening really is that there's different things that are going on with your chakras, that they're getting better balance, that the energy flow is going better. But if I'm talking to somebody who's not spiritual, I'm not talking to them this way. Okay. This chart that I have up, it's one that I Googled that you can find. And I love Google. Google's like, it's like God Google. You get any answers you want to if you know how to answer it right. So this is set up so that you're able to see the chakras. This is like the, I think maybe it's Hindi or Sanskrit version of how, what they will call it, right? Wherein we will call it the crown, the third eye, throat, heart. And over here are the body parts that are connected to each one. So if you have a physical thing that's going on, you can look and see which part. Now, how do you get it more in balance? If your heart is off, you can wear green. Anytime that I have to speak, I wear blue, light blue, sky blue. It's the throat chakra. So now you're going to start noticing certain things on me. Some people get dressed to look cute. I get dressed to be effective. Hopefully I look cute too. But I want to be effective first. So now we're getting into colorology as a way of healing. You have sound. So there's certain sounds that are attributed to each one of the chakras. And there's people that play sounds over your body, like a certain tune, in order to get that chakra in alignment. Okay. And smell. You have smell, sound, and also meditation could be a way for you to get these in order. And again, it comes down to mental. So let me give you something. You have somebody that has a chakra. Now, this is not every case. Let me put this out here. It's not every case, but there's a lot of cases. So let's say you have someone who has an imbalance in their chakras. Every illness starts out in the spiritual world, unless it's harmed, karmic, things of that sort. Starts in the spiritual world. And then it's either going to manifest into being a physical illness or a mental illness. Somebody had something, and then it goes into being bipolar. Or somebody has something and it goes into them having poor circulation physically, either mental or spiritual. So from a physical standpoint, doctor can help you, doctor can heal you, doctor can give you pills, right? Anti-crazy pills. Or, okay, you have it from a different point where you go into the spiritual level. Still do that. Seek the medical advice, but also go deeper into the root cause of something and make sure you fix it for good. Okay. I'm going to go into the next one. Casey, how am I doing with time? I got a feeling you gave me a lot of levity. You're just being nice.
Yeah, we are done with the time. So now it's time to discuss emotion.
Okay. So what I want to do is skip the meditation part, go into the multi-dimensional timeline aspect of it, because it's kind of important and different. And then we'll open it up for discussions. TK. So Multi-dimensional and timelines. Let me tell you about that. The first time that I heard about this was going back a year ago, around something called transurfing realities. Transurfing realities. Transurfing realities was was a Russian mystic who put out a series of books, different courses, different. It's like an ocean full of information. And basically, he was saying that there are multiple timelines going on at the same time as right now, that there is another dimension where there is a trailer park version of Will Harris where he's really poor, a billionaire version of Will Harris where he's really rich. There's a Will Harris is really kind and really mean and really this and really that. There's even a tall Will Harris. So I don't know if you've never seen me, I might look tall. That's just because the screen is short. I'm a short guy. But your ability to tap into that timeline of what you want and then pull it into the timeline that you are aware of. Yeah, that's really getting into the timeline aspect of you manifesting your best self. So you take something like The Secret, right? I always think The Secret is a great introduction for beginners, but there's a whole lot more to it than that. So if you look at manifesting, you can say, I want this, I want this. The next level of teaching that I started to do, that there's 3 different layers to healing, to manifesting, to getting what you want, which means you have to say it, you have to see it, and then you have to feel it. And I thought, oh, that's hot. That's all you need. That's it. And it is helpful. So if you have a goal, you write it down or you say it in the past tense as if it already happened. Even if it's healing, I am whole, I'm complete. My body functions and moves the way it's supposed to. Okay. You have to see it. So have an image in your mind of you in that healthier state. And then you have to feel it. That's how I would define faith. Faith is actually feeling as if what you want has already happened. You know, how you define faith? Well, faith is, okay, I feel the same joy that I would have if it's already happened. And then the universe will bring that and attract that and manifest that to you. So to me, there's a time where I thought that was the best. And that's really where the secret is. Now this new thing with the Russian mystic has expanded my way of thinking of, yeah, you do all of that in search of a timeline. Can you meditate and see and tap into what would that life be like? That timeline where things are working out the way you want it. Can you see that? And then pulling that into this reality. And when you do that, other things are going to change. Just like billionaire Will Harris in that timeline, there's some things he had to sacrifice. I bet you billionaire Will Harris is in pristine shape. I bet he doesn't suffer fools long either. I bet he has a timeline of things he's going to do, a priority list, and other people he invite in his life. So when you start messing around with these timelines and pulling them in, just understand it has to be for the greatest and highest good of all. Because if not, it's kind of like one of my favorite quotes said, if man could have half his wishes, he would have double his troubles. If man could have half his wishes, he would have double his troubles. So be careful what you wish for and what you pull in, and make sure it's for the greatest good of all. Now, multi-dimensional healing or manifesting can be at another level. So let's say you have a broken heart. I'm going to talk about broken hearts, for example, or when we have the discussion, anyone who has a particular life situation, be it physical, mental, emotional, just let me know and I can tell you how you do it. It all starts from meditation. And the deeper you go into meditation, the deeper you are, let's say, in spirit. And the deeper you are in spirit, where you plant a seed there, the deeper you plant that seed, the bigger it can grow. So light meditation could be, all right, I sit back, I close my eyes, I breathe and relax. I say that's light. And from there you see, you say, you feel, whatever you want to manifest. That's light. But if you go into like a trance, like there's a difference between closing your eyes and relaxing and being in a straight up meditative trance. If you're coming from that standpoint, well, then you are someplace other than right here. You're in another dimension when you meditate and get into that trance. And from that place, you build your ideal image. From that place, you build your ideal emotions. You build your ideal response. And that's what I mean by multi-dimensional healing, is that you go deeper into a meditative trance. And from that place, you build the life you want. Whew. Okay, now I'm done. Kiesia, I'm going to ask if there are any questions in the chat. I'm pretty psyched that there's a lot of activity in the chat too. And for everybody, please, while I'm talking in the future, feel free to chat amongst yourselves and bring up certain topics and discussions and flow right on through. I see you, Jerry.
Put me on.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say something I always say, and that's from experience, that if you really want to get into this, you need to practice. You can't do it once. You need to practice working with the energy of the universe that's available to you 24/7. And as you do this over time, you find out your sensitivity to the energy becomes so powerful, and your ability to use your energy, whether to heal yourself or heal your loved ones, your pets, your plants, or whatever, heal the universe. And that's what Antonia was talking about, the theory of one, the law of one. We are all sharing the same energy, which belongs to the creator of the universe. And so I'm saying is, if you do not practice this, don't expect it to work real strongly for you. There's a few who can have it from day one and say, wow, but a lot of people, you can see this build up. That's why the gurus and the yogis go out into into the mountains and sit there, because the power that they have is they can stay alive without eating food. A breath can last them 15 minutes. The unbelievable, those are things that border on paranormal and science fiction, really works. It's a matter of just reading into this, understanding it, and practicing it. So you got to find out, what practice do you want to do? And there's a lot of rewards for you.
Well said. And thanks for bringing up the law of one, too, Jerry. I forgot. I was going to ask Antonio, like, I guess you're down with Raw and what he was kicking out. It's kind of cool. But Jerry's absolutely right. Like when I said about the 100 grand, I'd already been meditating every day, 4 a.m. in the morning, getting up, meditating. And it's kind of like going to the gym. You go to the gym the first day, not expecting you're going to be able to lift up the whole entire gym on day one. You gotta start off with barbell and build up. Cool. Casey, any questions from the chat?
John has one question.
Okay. He had to drop off too. John's messing around with March Madness. So he's busy. But let me see. So I'll probably email him later on. What part of those multi-dimensional selves is the real you? I think each one. So it's a totally different way of thinking, right? It's like understanding that the concept of time doesn't exist. So each one is us. I'm really real to me, and I'm sure the other will, he's really real to him. But I think that's another reason why we shouldn't judge anybody, because we're all capable of the best and the worst. Okay. And LaFonda, is multi-dimensional timeline different from past lives? Yes. Yes. Totally different concept. So consider this timeline that I'm on now, where I know that you exist, where we are friends. Okay. Within this timeline, this Will Harris had a past life too. So when you hear things like anything is possible, and it's just infinity, it really is infinity, because I might have to pull from a timeline of another Will Harris past life to ensure that this one has the DNA genetic makeup. Like right now, I'm messing around with the tree of life and some crystal genetic healing, going deep into my family roots, trying to uplift my entire family. So that's going into past lives, that's going into timelines, and just really looking for those hidden skills to bring up so that I'm able to be the best version of me that I can be. Okay. Oh, John is still here. I didn't see John listed, but another question popped up for him. How can you be? How can I don't want to become the tall Will Harris. I like being short. And I'm not short. Everybody else just really tall. This is fun size over here, John. This is all fun size. Cool. Anybody else have any comments or questions? Carolyn, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I think it's a lot to take in. I have kind of done a research about chakras and all sort of chakra healing and energy healing previous to this. So this isn't new to me, but I'm excited to delve more into it as I come to visit you more on Sundays. So I'm very excited to come back.
Awesome.
And see what I learn.
When you look at the chakras, you can put your hand over one too, and you can have an impact on it in the way you go around it, and you can feel it too as well, because the position of again, it's not like there's this one thing, all right? It's not like this, hey, here's my chakra. It's energy being looped
the
around.
area of your, where it is kind of in the area. Now I have two questions. One, how do crystals, how do we incorporate crystals in this? Is this a topic for another day? And LaFonda had a question that wasn't addressed about healing a broken heart, I think, but I didn't want to take her words from her. I want to allow her.
What is the best way to heal a broken heart?
Yes.
Okay. That's way hard. I got something for you.
Thank you.
The chakra.
No problem. I just my question was about the crystals, but I wanted you to have your space.
So I'll tell the crystals, and since you brought it up, and then I'll go back to the heart. Okay.
Yeah.
So every time is always a good time to bring something up. So anything that pops into your mind, if it's off this topic or subject, please feel free to bring it up. I love me some crystals. I got all types and kinds, and there's so many different cool ways that you can do it. We did another class on this topic, and probably over the summer we'll have a bigger course on it. But you can use crystals, just having them on your body or near you. Like this is obsidian. So I have 2 that I have. Even came with a little cute stand. But keep in mind, you don't have to have a cute stand. I like cute stuff. The crystal alone is fine. But you can have it in your area and it will have an impact on your chakras. You can meditate with it. And that's the reason why I have 2, because I hold one in my hand and I lay down to meditate, which for anybody new, meditation doesn't have to be like, oh, you get in a complicated pretzel-like pose. One of my spiritual mentors, a guy named John White, said that if you take out the religious aspects of meditation, meditation is just super focused on something. So you can also place it on your body. I have a awesome crystal book somewhere. So this book shows how you can use it on your body. So from the chakra standpoint, I know there are grids that you can use. I like using grids, like I have this one for infinity. You place the chakras on the grid. And let me see if I can just do one for the body chakra. Metron Cube for manifesting too. That's awesome. That's like my favorite.
What is the title of this book?
The Ultimate Guide to Crystal Grids, Transform Your Life. Now, this one is for, that one is for the bougie. This one is for the down and dirty. Okay.
Crystal
Bougie
grid power. That's what I'm looking for.
Down and dirty. Because this one, the guy doesn't have as many fancy glossy pictures. He didn't hire a photographer to come in and make it look all nice. But man, his stuff is spot on. So to answer your question with crystals and how that comes into play, you can have them in your environment. You can have them on you, like you wear it as a necklace or something like that. Or you can strategically place them using sacred geometry in order to heighten your abilities. Now, in terms of the question about the best way to heal the heart, this one I love. And it can work with romantic as well as non-romantic. And it takes about 2 weeks for you to see a full effect on both sides. What you would do is you would go into meditation. And then once you go into meditation, you bring someone in front of you, like you just call out to the spirit, call out to the energy, anyone living or not living, you bring them there and make it be the person of someone that you love a lot. And then you looking at that person, feeling their energy, feeling their love, you displace it and move it out of the way. And then bring in the person who now you have negative feelings for, or the pain or hurt over it. Like maybe you did me wrong and I'm pissed off at you. All right. Like I want to cut you low. Right. So then you bring that person in, and then you bring the person that you love back, and you merge both energies. And love conquers all. So then you have the energy of the person you love just expand to the point where it takes over that negative feeling that you have for that other person. And then you separate out the two energies and see that that person you love, the energy is still the same. And the one you had the negative feelings for, it was raised up. Okay. All right. Now, another level, either part 2 of that exercise, or just go straight to it. Let's say, I love you, Carolyn, but you don't love me. Okay. Now, I got to get over that. all of us have this cord that connects us together, that people who have near-death experiences, they look down on the earth and they see this almost like an umbilical cord that connects all of us. But there's another cord that connects me to Carolyn, me to Jerry, because we created that in this timeline in order for us to be friends and know each other. Well, that cord I can cut. I can't cut the spiritual and biblical cord that connects all of humanity. We're all connected together in that way. But I can cut the cord of the emotions, the feelings, the relationship that I may have. And in that case, all I have to do is call the spirit of, let's say, Carolyn. We just ain't going to be friends no more. I call the spirit of Carolyn in front of us, in front of me. And then I imagine that cord that connects us. And then I can use scissors, I can use a knife, I can use a Kung Fu chop, Hong Kong Fooey. That's what I was trying to get to. That shows how old I was. Who knows about Hong Kong Fooey? Okay, there we go. Hong Kong. See, and maybe I don't want to cut this cord between you, Carolyn. We got so much in common. So you have that cord that connects, and you just imagine that the cord gets cut, and you say to the spirit of the other person, anything I did to harm you, please forgive me. And I forgive you of any harm you ever did to me. I send you away in love and peace. And then imagine that you stepped on the stage that had like blue lights coming up, and the blue lights burned off the cord that's remaining. And you see it floating up, being transformed into love and shooting that love out into the universe. So that's another way I found out how you can get over it. If I like you, you don't like me, or vice versa, you got somebody that's a bugaboo. Remember that song? Bugaboo, bugging you, bugging me, bugging who? Bugaboo. Somebody that's just constantly with you, that has this obsession with you. Then you can imagine that.
I know how old you are because I remember all the songs you always sing and bring up. Old school.
Right. So you get on that, you cut the cord, imagine the blue light, right? That disintegrates or transforms it into loving energy and sending it out into the universe. That's what you can do. So those are the two ways.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, anybody else? Well, awesome. Well, for the new people that came, thank you. We're glad you're here. We love you. Antonio, shout out to you. I guess we probably could sing you happy birthday. You guys down with that? Well, I'm going to sing it. But I know, I think it always sounds bad when you come off on Zoom. It sounds crazy. Like every time we try to sing happy birthday to everybody and we hop in, it's like, it's a delay. And it's just like, this is like the worst birthday song I ever heard before. So I'm going to start singing and everybody else can just move your mouth. And we can go that route. Or you can jump in and test my theory on it sounding crazy now, but I'm going to tell you, Antonio ain't going to come back if we all start singing happy birthday. But, all right, so here you go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Antonio. Happy
birthday to you.
Then you gotta do the black one. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Manusha, you supposed to hop in on the Indian version?
Oh,
What's Jason, you guy?
no, so
No. Well, Antonio, we hope this is a happy birthday for you. And we hope that 1 year from now, that everybody is able to celebrate your birthday in person. Because we would have kicked COVID's butt. So with that, I will say goodbye to everybody. John, be safe where you are. Alexa, glad you were on. Parvin, you know I love you. Saul, it's always a pleasure. Maddie, love you. Eileen, Kiasia, Manusha for being up so late in India. Valya, I don't know if that's my yoga instructor in that, but hi. Christine, the Divine Librarian, and Richard, it's a pleasure seeing you. Love that background too that you got over there. Shanaz, just glowing, Look at Shanaz, just glowing. And Carolyn, it was really a pleasure having you come on. I think I got everybody. Did I miss anybody? Okay, cool. All right. So with that, everybody, happy Sunday. And see you next time.
Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. Bye, everybody.